saw the end of the world.
I think right now what we're seeing is transmedia storytelling is predominantly cropped up around a couple of audiences. Look at any children's franchise today. Across genres, there is a growing interest in extending the story into as many platforms and as many opportunities for participation as possible.
11:30, Saturday mornings, Fox Kids. This sums up my childhood. I can remember sitting in front of the TV watching X-Men like it was yesterday. In the late 1980s, early 90s, the X-Men escaped from their comic book boundaries and appeared on cable television. This is where I first fell in love with the X-Men, my all-time favorite superheroes. In part, it had a lot to do with Storm. I was mesmerized by a black female superhero. I fell in love with the character that I looked like. Reruns of X-Men Evolution can be seen today on Disney XD.
Butt out, Four Eyes.
You wouldn't hit a man with glasses, would you?
So, take them off.
Stop!
The X-Men. Over 50 years of intersecting storylines, over 100 characters, over thousands of issues. They are certainly one of the most rich and complex comic book lineages of all time.
In 1961, Timely Comics transformed into Marvel Comics, and with this new era came the Big Bang of the Marvel Universe. The monthly issue of the X-Men comic series produced by Marvel Comics debuted in September 1963 and has not stopped printing since. The creative masterminds behind this forceful superhero time were writers and artists Stan Lee and Jack Kirby.
What you've got to do is tell a story that's well contained in each of the medium, but that you add new layers as you consume it across other media platforms, so that you can watch a television show or the movie, not be confused by any holes or gaps, but that you see different things and you understand the story in a richer level if you consume the comic books or play the games or read about it on the web. That's the transition we're at, and storytellers and audiences both are learning how to do that.
And go.
After years of gaining a large fan base through various comics and television series, Marvel decided to take X-Men to the big screen. In 1994, 20th Century Fox obtained the rights to X-Men characters. In 2000, the film series began with the first movie, X-Men, directed by Bryan Singer. In 2003, the series came out with X2, X-Men United. Brett Ratner directed X-Men The Last Stand in 2006. In 2011, X-Men First Class was directed by Matthew Vaughn. Singer returned to direct X-Men Days of Our Future Past and the most recent film in the series, X-Men Apocalypse. Each movie focuses and expands on a different plot within the storyline. The franchise has also focused on individual characters with X-Men Origins, starring Wolverine, Gambit, and Deadpool.
You men, come at the doors! Everybody get together! And hold this line!
Did someone say line? This comic series goes deeper than some foreign creatures fighting. There is a huge cultural significance that Lee and Kirby wanted to address. The main storyline goes parallel to the main storylines of the 60s, the time of the team's creation. Kirby and Lee felt the need to bring a social issue to a larger platform in a unique way. From 1960 to 1975, it was an era of huge social change. There was a lot going on. These 15 years presented tremendous change and identified major faults in society. MLK's ideologies of coexisting peacefully for blacks and whites were incorporated into Charles Xavier, Professor X, whose dream was for mutants and Homosapiens to coexist peacefully. At the same time, you have Malcolm X, who believed the complete opposite in that blacks and whites could never coexist, and blacks should have everything separate. These ideologies were given to Magneto, who thinks the same is true for mutants and Homo sapiens. These ideologies are the basis for X-Men theme, which is the philosophical and ethical debate on how mutants should use their tremendous natural powers in a society that hates and fears them. Sound familiar? Maybe not. The mutants or natural powers part, but what about minorities trying to live in a society that hates and fears them? For these reasons, the X-Men will always hold importance in society, seeing as how we are still fighting for these very same issues almost 60 years later. The X-Men remain relevant all over society. At Universal, characters are always interacting with fans. There are rides and loads of apparel.
So by the time the internet came along, the public was ready and eager for channels that would allow them to communicate with each other, to tell stories over a distance, to share knowledge with each other. There's just been an explosion of creativity.
YouTube has been the basis for that explosion of creativity. Fans write, direct, and record their own X-Men films. These fan films and cartoons allow fans to interact with one another and give each other input and feedback and go inside their imaginations as they create their own versions of how they think these series should play out. There are over 100 fan films online, and this is probably the biggest interaction of X-Men fandom that there is, in addition to bloggers and other types of social media.
It seems that way. And now this convention that's coming along this weekend, the holiday weekend, it's called the Stan Lee Kamikaze, and it's the 4th year, and each year it gets bigger.
Cosmikaze brings fans together from around the world. During this time, auditions are often held for extras in the movies, and this allows many fans to live out their dream of being X-Men. In addition to Stan Lee Kamikaze, X-Men fans find themselves gathering at Comic-Cons across the country and book signings. Actors from the X-Men movies and directors often hold different Q&As around the time of new movie releases.
Well, I think we live in a moment of what I call convergence culture. And a convergence culture is one where every story, every sound, every image, every relationship plays itself out across the maximum number of media platforms.
They saw the end of the world.
Wherever this being was, he always had 4 followers he would imbue with power.
Like the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse. You got that one from the Bible.
Or the Bible got it from him.
What is it? Oh, God. He can control all of us.
Charles!
The world needs the X-Men.
That's why I'm here. To fight.